You see, in today's class, we'll be dealing with the machinery and the enzymes. And before we begin, we have a simple recap of the central dogma. What is central dogma? Central dogma means the main point around which the DNA and the protein synthesis is linked. That means one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. In the last class I had said. So see, this DNA actually transcriptions of mRNA. That means DNA, in our earlier classes we have seen that it opens like a zipper like fashion, and on the unwinded helix. See, if you focus on your previous page, if you open the book and if you see the previous page, you can see the diagram on which it was given that the semi-conservativeness of the DNA helix. So in that semi-conservativeness, it is shown that the DNA opens like a zipper-like fashion. Okay, the helix, it is twined together and it opens like a zipper-like fashion. So when it opens like a zipper-like fashion, the nitrogenous base, the hydrogen bonding, they unbond. Okay, so that helps the opening of the DNA helix. Now when the DNA helix opens out, you can see it's flashing on the screen. Okay, now if you focus here, you see this DNA helix, it unwinds and you see the base pairs are there. Now you see this blue one basically it is here the newly formed DNA, but before the newly formed DNA it forms a mRNA strand and that complements the bases. That means what? See, G and C is there. Okay, TA, thymine bonding with adenine, thymine, like that base pairs when they are bonding, this actually forms first an mRNA. Okay, it forms an mRNA. So the formation of mRNA means messenger RNA. This messenger RNA on the DNA helix or unwind DNA is known as a transcription. That is how the DNA transcribes. It encodes the protein molecules, encodes for the mRNA. And when that messenger RNA goes, it enters into the cell. Have you ever heard the name of ribosome? So that ribosome, the mRNA goes to tRNA. That means known as transfer RNA, but that much is not in your syllabus. So this mRNA goes into the protein, and for example, the code pair. See, 3 base pair forms a codon. Okay, so that codon helps in the protein synthesis, and that is basically known as the central dogma of protein synthesis. Now here you see the machinery. Okay, the machinery and the enzymes. The living cells such as E. coli possesses the replication required in a set of catalyzer enzymes. So that means what? They possess some enzyme that starts a chemical reaction, because everything this happens with a chemical reaction. So the main enzyme, you focus here, the main enzyme referred to as a DNA dependent, that is known as a DNA polymerase. So what, remember the name. So it uses a DNA template. Template means the one unwinded template. That's the DNA template to catalyze the polymerization. What is polymerization? Fixing of the DNA. Okay, nucleotide, deoxynucleotide, and these enzymes are highly efficient enzymes, and as they have to catalyze polymerization of a large number of nucleotides. See, nucleotides are single molecule. So those molecules have to join together to form a chain. So that is done by DNA polymerase. That means it joins up the base pairs. Now complete the process of replication, and it takes 38 minutes. So you see, that means the average rate of polymerization is approximately 2000 base pair per second, and not only do they polymerize, have to be fast, but they have to catalyze the reaction to high degree of accuracy. See, everything has to be coded, and any mistake may lead to mutation. Okay, any mistake can lead to mutation. That means it would completely change the chemistry of DNA. So deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate serves dual purpose. It acts as a substrate. Substrate means on the base, and they provide energy for polymerization to 2 termination phosphate forms. In addition to that, see, DNA depends. You see, DNA dependent RNA polymerase may additionally require what do they require? They require additional enzymes. Okay, for example, just to unwind the replicating fork, replication occurs in a small opening of the DNA helix. So that replication opening, that is known as replicating fork, and the DNA dependent DNA polymerase catalase, that is 5 to 3rd end, creates an additional complication. So that is continuous. Then when it happens, it is discontinuous and the new one has to be cut down. So that cut down is done by DNA ligase. So we have come across two enzymes. One is DNA polymerase, DNA ligase. So as DNA polymerase on its own cannot initiate the process, it needs a does not initiate randomly at place. So they needs a enzyme for that. That means that is termed as the origin of replication. Now if you see here, the requirement of the origin of replication, how does it start? Because it cannot just start on its own. DNA is need to be propagated during recombinant DNA procedure and requires a vector. Vector means provide the origin of replication. So it needs a vector. Now further, not every detail of replication is understood well. In eukaryotes, the replication of DNA takes place at S phase of the cell cycle. You can underline that, S phase of the cell cycle, and the replication of DNA and cell division should be highly coordinated. It should, the failure, see what would happen if it fails, the DNA replication, it results into a polyploidy, that means chromosomal anomaly. That means increase in number of chromosome or decrease in number of chromosome, that is known as polyploidy. That is okay. So you will learn that detail in a process occurring in your higher classes. This is not important. Now you see, if you take it as a DNA template, they open. This is known as replicating fork. This is a continuous synthesis and this is a discontinuous synthesis. Okay, so this process, this red one is actually they form the mRNA. This is the messenger RNA, and this process of formation of a RNA on a DNA template is known as transcription. Clear? Now you see, this is a transcription. So the process of copying genetic information from one strand of DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. So here also the principle of complementarity. See, these are complementary. Okay, one complementary in what sense? Of the base pair. Okay, except the adenosine now forms the base pair adenosine. See, adenosine is absent in RNA, so it has to be replaced by uracil. And instead, okay, adenosine now forms base pair with uracil instead of thymine. AT, T is not there. Thymine is absent in RNA. So instead of thymine, it is replaced by uracil. So however, unlike in the process of replication, which once set in, the total DNA of an organism gets duplicated. That means it is duplicated. See, when the RNA, it gets duplicated. So its transcription, only a segment of DNA and only one strand is copied into the RNA. See, it opens. Only one strand gets copied here and here another one gets copied here. Copied to RNA, the necessary defining the boundaries that would demarcate the region of the strand, and this would be transcribed. So see, earlier it has to be demarcated, how much strand has to be opened. Why both the strands are not copied during the transcription? See, both of them doesn't happen simultaneously, because first, if both strands act as a template, they would code for RNA molecule with different sequences, because they are complementary, and in turn, if they code for protein, the sequence of amino acid in protein would be different. So hence, one segment of DNA would be coding for two different protein, and this would complicate the genetic information transfer machinery. So second, the two RNA molecule it produces simultaneously would be complementary to one another, hence would produce a double-stranded RNA. So this would prevent RNA from being translated into protein, and the exercise of the transcription would become a futile one. So that means only one codes for one strands code for RNA. Now see, the transcription unit of DNA is defined primarily by the three regions. You see, a promoter, a structural gene, and terminator. Okay. Now what is that? Promoter opens the helix. Now this is convenient in defining the two strands of DNA in the structural genetical transcription unit, and since the two strands have opposite polarity, they are known as DNA dependent. That DNA dependent RNA polymerase, and also categorize the polymerization. So it's 5 to 3 and 3 to 5 as a template strand. Okay. Now other strand, the sequence such as mRNA, it's displaced during the transcription, and strangely one strand, they have got a coding strand. All this referred to as a defining. See, this is a template strand and coding. You can see this figure very carefully. See, all are complementary. A, T, T, A, G, C, like that. That is the coding strand. Okay. Now this figure is very important. You see. This figure is very important. Here you see it is a promoter, transcription site, structural protein, template, and terminator. That means it initiates from here and here. Okay. Now you see the promoter and terminator flank the structural gene in the transcription unit. The promoter is said to be located in the 5' and the structural gene referred to as a polar, and DNA sequences provide binding site of RNA. They have to bind together, and that is how the terminator, obviously the terminator has to be located on the 3rd end and promoter on the 5' and some of the properties of the sequence shall be discussed in the gene expression. So what is transcription? Transcription of unit of gene. A gene is defined as a functional unit of inheritance, and there is no ambiguity that the gene is located on DNA. It is difficult literally to know the position of the DNA. So the DNA sequence coding, say tRNA or RNA molecules, is defined a gene. However, the definition of cystone on a segment of DNA coding, see monocystonic, that means it is a single transcriptional unit, and bacteria they have known as polycystonic, that is many gene, one enzyme hypothesis. Now it in eukaryotes, now see the coding sequence is expressed in exons. What is exons? Exons are said to be those sequences that appear in mature or the process of RNA. The exons are interrupted by introns, intervening structure, and do not appear in mature process RNA. So like that the inheritance character is also affected. So one gene poses for one enzyme, and ultimately the sequence do not code for any RNA or protein. Okay. Now you see here, that is this sequence is known as RNA, type of RNA and the process of transcription. If you can see here. Now here this is a double helical strand of DNA. Promoter starts, termination, finish. So initiation, see they open out RNA polymerase. This is sigma factor, that is a factor that is responsible. Then ultimately when it comes here, this RNA is released, this RNA, that is known as the chain elongation. Then ultimately where does this go? Finally it is over RNA polymerase, that is rho factor. Sigma factors initiates and rho factor terminates, that is a terminating factor, and this RNA is released. The RNA further goes to the ribosome where it synthesizes the protein. That result, see, rho factor is responsible for termination and transcription, sigma is for initiation factor, and rho is for this. So you have to go through the diagram properly to understand the thing. See, and you see when the RNA chain, you see this figure, RNA chain is not continuous. Exon, intron. Introns do not code for protein. Okay. Ultimately when it is spliced, you see when it is spliced, they form a polypeptide chain. So this is the messenger RNA that codes for the protein. So ultimately again the protein is coded, and that is the basic functions of this tRNA, mRNA. Okay, it is a heterogeneous thing, and we will be dealing it in the later part of the, there is splicing. See, this is also important. The secondary complexity in the primary transcription contains both exon and introns and are non-functional. Hence, it is subjected to the process of splicing. It is cut off. In capping as unusual nucleoside, then a tail, see aldehyde residues, and this is the RNA world. This is how the RNA dominates the DNA over this. Clear? And DNA coding, it forms a 4 base pair provided proof that the codons are a triplet and more thing. Okay, it goes to Hargobind Khorana that he made for the genetical coding codes for various amino acids. You see, these are stop codon, initiation codon, triplets, three codes. Okay, so these are the salient features, and some have nonsense codon. That means they do not code for a protein synthesis. Okay, some are philanthropic. Philanthropic means they start in a proper way, start with the initiating codon, right side to left side and left side to right side. They are the same. Okay, so mutation and genetic coding, we'll do it later.